Did you know the average American football game is only 11 to 18 minutes of action in a 3-hour game?
So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had. And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Well, the old lady said she come to die, put a hand on her hip and one on her thigh. Good Lord, have mercy. Good Lord, have mercy. Good Lord, have mercy. All right.
And in fact, the word Seminole is not even an Indian word. It is derived from a Spanish word, cimarron, meaning runaway slave.
It seems as though we gave up. We gave up and just, our restaurants, we had restaurants, inns, and when we could go to their inns, then we forgot that man. In fact, I've had friends to call colored restaurants. The one that I'd go to this evening if I was taking New York for dinner, I'd go to it. They call it the Greasy Spoon now. They came to. I don't understand us.
And so from the beginning, you don't have an Indian tribe. It was a multi-ethnic coalition.
Historical evidence documents their close relationship. Blacks became chiefs, signed treaties, and served on the tribal council. They intermarried. They were equals, Opala says, and the Indians depended on them as warriors and interpreters. Now, nearly 200 years later, comes the $56 million payment from the federal government to compensate the tribe for those lost Florida lands. But the Black Seminoles can't share in it because the government and the tribe say they were slaves of the Red Seminoles back then. Joe Opala, who has worked to preserve their legacy, says that's wrong.
The Black Seminoles fought side by side, died, bled for those lands in Florida.
Quarterback. What did the index say to the drink? No more crawfishes in this lake. Just a dive. Other side, just a dive. Other side, just a dive. Other side. All right. Quarterback. What did the index say to the drink? No more crawfishes in this lake. Just a dive. Other side, just a dive. Other side. Just a dive, other side.
It's a holographic projector in the back of that tent. And you're going to see a few anomalies that happened during this event that don't make sense, that look like a hologram or CGI. Just like the chair going through the table. Just right through the table, just like that. Look at that right there. That doesn't look real, does it? That looks like CGI, that looks like a hologram. And then of course we have the infamous red dot that just happened to just jump right over to his neck from his shirt. Let's watch it in slow motion here. There it is, okay? Now we're gonna cover that up. Let's also go ahead and watch the F on his shirt. Gone, vanishes into thin air, and reappears right there. You could also see that the ring jumps from his wedding finger to his pinky finger right there. People that aren't sleeping or actually awake and not ignorant to what's going on in this world understand that the elites, they stamp the number 33 on everything that they do, all their staged events. That's because there's 33 degrees to Freemasonry, and they're all 33rd degree Freemasons that are deceiving humanity. That's what's been going on. Remember the 33-hour manhunt for the guy that supposedly assassinated Charlie Kirk? Yeah. Just a striking coincidence, isn't it? Like I said, 33, the Inspector General, the highest ranking Freemasons. Watch how they put this shit in your face. There was a card game that they made in 1995 called the Illuminati Card Game of Conspiracy, and all these cards have come to fucking truth. Like I said, 1995, terrorist nuke, 9/11, Pentagon, 9/11, epidemic, 2020, fucking quarantine. But this one is really interesting right here. Enough is enough. At any time, any place, our snipers can drop you. Look at the thumbnail. At the time of this event, this was the last short on his YouTube. Look at the thumbnail. And then look at the title, Enough is Enough.
Holy fuck, chat. Bombshell breaking news. The Artemis 2 Back to the Moon mission is fake. The latest live stream with the Artemis 2 astronauts clearly shows that it's all a green screen setup. Take a look at this. This is just a screen grab from the live stream. As you can see, the green spot indicates that some kind of green screen technology was used here. Also, another screen grab from the live stream. As you can see, the green spots indicates green screen technology. I don't think this photo is from the actual set, but I'm assuming this photo is just an example of what the set would look like if they were to, you know, fake the moon landing. Now watch this from the live stream.
While you've been gone, and I'm wondering,
what's up with the lettering behind this ball?
How are they doing with you so far from home?
Like, what? Wait for it.
I overheard from some of the conferences, and then what I enjoyed watching
what is
with my
this?
family. I think there's a lot going on. It's been interesting to hear what they have.
What?
All right, all right, all right. Jack the Rabbit, Jack the Bear.
Oh, tell me why the police almost got me for trespassing. Okay, so I tried to go to Port Chicago in Concord, California. Baby, I freaked the hell out. Okay, let me tell you about Port Chicago and Concord, and then I'll tell y'all what happened. So back in the day, in the 1940s, Port Chicago was a naval magazine, a place where bombs and ammunition was loaded onto ships for World War II. Now around 3,000 men worked there, and the majority of those handling the ammunition were black sailors. But wait a minute, here's the ugly truth about it. They deliberately put black men in the most dangerous jobs purposely. First, they were given little to no training. They were expected to load tons of explosives as fast as possible, while the white officers watched, of course, safely from a distance. This was all planned. Their lives was treated poorly. So on July 17th, 1944, the inevitable happened. 2 ships exploded with over 5,000 tons of explosives. It was a real sad day. A couple of months ago, I actually visited the Contra Costa Historical Society in Martinez, California. This is where they keep all the historical information about the Bay Area. I would highly recommend going. But during that visit, I learned that the explosion could actually be heard all the way in Oakland, California. But that wasn't the most surprising part that I heard. What really hurt me the most was that these men were actually expected to go back to work a few days later after the explosion. For example, a man named Clarence Steele, who was a young black sailor, had survived the explosion, but he was badly burned. He watched dozens of his friends die right next to him. But days later, he was told he had to go back to work. And then he refused. And then he was arrested and then imprisoned just for standing up for his life. Now, this wasn't a one-off. Many black men were arrested for not returning back to work days later after an explosion, a deadly explosion. And it was the system at work, treating black men like they were disposable. Reading the documents hit so hard. And the part I didn't know about all of this was that this part was still a part of an active military base. So you can't just visit. Do not do what I did. When I was trying to drive here, my GPS kept taking me into circles. And then I finally read a part where it said Port Chicago. And then I drove in. When you type in Port Chicago Naval Magazine, it literally says Memorial Park in Contra Costa. So I had no clue you couldn't just go up there. And when I got up there, the military man jumped up in his car, put on his siren, got on his intercom and told me back up. Baby, I backed the hell up swiftly. But I did steal some photos from Google. And if you ever want to go here, you need to make reservations 2 weeks in advance in order to go. But Port Chicago is more than a name in Concord, California. It's a story of planned injustice, deadly work, and courage that too many people still don't know. And the story of the 100 black sailors, like Clarence Deal, shows just how real that sacrifice was.
Like I said, we couldn't eat at the restaurant downtown. That's why my daddy put my mama in a restaurant, a black restaurant. And the thing about it is, sweetheart, we own so many more things then than we do now. We didn't, you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Yeah. See, the man is right down the street there, Streets Hotel. Man on the Streets Hotel was black. Man had the restaurant, Streets Hotel was black. The man at the barbershop was black. The man at the bar was black. You understand? They own these things. We own so many things that we don't own anymore.
Uh-oh. So I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me. But there's one new thing I know, and that is planet Earth, you are a crew. Yeah. Thank you.
You guys gotta cut it out.
Scientists gave octopuses MDMA, and I cannot stop thinking about it. So octopuses are the loners of the ocean, antisocial, aggressive, they avoid everyone. On MDMA, they started hugging each other, reaching out, touching, connecting. Here's the wild part. Humans and octopuses share nearly identical genetic code for how the brain processes serotonin.
Shedding is a real thing. So what we do know, and this may be horrific, is that, autopsy series have shown that the amount of spike protein after vaccination in spermatozoa is truly astonishing. So that vaccinated men that have sex with their partner who are unvaccinated can transfer spike protein. And we know of women who've had relations with their partner and have developed symptoms of spike disease. So that can happen. The other way is that people who recently vaccinated exhale what are called exosomes, and these exosomes are like lipid nanoparticles with spike protein. So that if you are in close-ish contact, and this doesn't have to be close physical, it doesn't have to be, intimate contact. It can be, reasonable proximity to someone who's recently been vaccinated. You can inhale these exosomes and be spiked.
This is breaking legal news. Trump has identified a critical national security threat in the Gulf of Mexico and has ordered the threat to be destroyed. I'm talking, of course, about this whale. That animal is called Rice's whale. It is about the size of a school bus and it only lives in the Gulf of Mexico. Here's why Trump hates it and wants it to die. The individual in this picture is one of less than 100 left on planet Earth. Some estimates put their numbers as low as 50. They were devastated by British Petroleum's Deep Horizon disaster that spilled over 130 million barrels of oil into the Gulf. This whale is right on the cusp of extinction, which is why they were added to the Endangered Species Act. But Trump says that this whale's existence interferes with pumping oil out of the Gulf. To get around those protections, Trump has assembled the rarely used God Squad, so-called because they play God with living creatures on the planet. Trump's Secretary of the Interior, billionaire Doug Burnham, and his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, got together and decided in less than 15 minutes that because this whale gets in the way of drilling for oil, it's a national security risk and it needs to go. Hegseth argued that the existence of those protections prevents drilling in the Gulf at a time when the United States oil supply is threatened by the war in Iran. That's not what the law does. It says preventative measures must be taken so that this shit doesn't happen again. But I want to know what you think. How do we feel about Trump's band of billionaires playing God and choosing which species to eliminate based solely on, well, corporate profits? It doesn't seem to have a justification to me.
You guys want to see something cool? Watch this. Now, if I tell you what I think this is, I'll probably lose my 100th account, but I'm here to tell you that this does exist, and they're not gonna tell you why. Maybe this pertains to a frequency war. Maybe this pertains to the fact that everything is energy and frequency, and the things going through the air can be a lot more dangerous than the things that you can see. Ask yourself why this door pops open like that. How much energy is being directed as a weapon at this red car? Now ask yourself if the car was blue, if it would have the same effect. Maybe, maybe not. But man, oh man, I'm here to tell you, they don't want this getting out.
Everybody's talking about the Wayfair conspiracy coming true, but does anybody remember the weird postings that were popping up at Etsy during this time? Luckily, I took screenshots of these and saved them to my private cloud because they're scrubbed from the internet now, but this was back in the early 2020s. Look at this. Rare find already in 20 plus carts for $50,000, young pizza assorted. And we know what that means. And the image alone is so disturbing. But this is where it gets really dark. This is the description and item details. Awesome girl pizzas ready to ship. Arrives container pickup from depot. Ordinary looking packaging. All shipments are not identical. You will receive your young pizza assorted in a container around 20 by 8. Southern Imports is always ready to ship, recently packaged and very quick shipping to ensure quality. Message with your referral and favorite colors before purchase. Can schedule a down payment and meeting with insurance. There's no doubt that this is demonic and evil and dark, and the craziest thing is that it was happening right under our noses. The question now is, how do we make sure that this never happens again?
How do I know you?
You probably see me catch pedophiles on the internet.
Oh yeah.
So
Are
Ron,
you serious?
can I have that phone, boss? Why you been talking with a little boy? Why you having dinner with a little boy?
He contacted me.
No, you wrote first.
Him?
You wrote the little boy first on Grindr. I know how this works. So let's go through a little bit of what you're doing here, man. Mr. Ron Callahan.
Yeah, the rest of it is commercials, timeouts, replays, injuries, halftime shows. In fact, the advertisements are a full hour of the programming. So you're spending 400% more time watching commercials than you are watching plays. We think we're tuning into nonstop action, modern day gladiators duking it out. What we're actually watching is a perfectly engineered system of interruptions. Time to check your phone, to go to the bathroom, to go get something to eat. And most importantly, time to bet. Because sports betting is now a multi-billion-dollar business. And those breaks, that's where the money moves. And here's the wildest part. Football today is not designed around the people watching it in the stands. It's designed around the people watching it on their television. The camera angles, the slow motion, the commentary, all the graphics. Even when you're there in real life, your brain is translating it to the angles that you know. Your brain is turning it into a broadcast in your head. It's taking in the data it sees and turning it into a broadcast because we are so conditioned to watch football that way. So what are we actually watching? It's not just a game. It's a system where the action is short, but the monetization is constant. In 1940, a professional football game lasted like 2 hours. Now it lasts over 3 hours. So you can tell how much is being packed into there as far as commercialization and monetization. So we are definitely mining it for money.
Talk about device privacy and device protection. Here's how bad porn sites are for your device, just on the surface. Ready? So I'm going to be the guinea pig for you guys. I go to my browser, I type in youporn.com, right? Go to the site, do the age verification, but now I go back to my phone in my settings, and I go down to privacy and security, and then I go down to Apple Privacy Report. And then the website network activity recognizes youporn.com, but then look at all the subset sites that are generated from the metadata, which is an abundance of Google Ads Manager, the Traffic Junkie, other additional Google Cloud nonsense. They monopolized all the traffic, and I wasn't even on Google, and it's siphoning all my data. Did you see all the subsites created from entering the one website, which morphed into multiple, and all of it was monopolized by Google siphoning data?
Are convicted in their belief. And so, to Jack's point about using some of the lie detection technology, particularly for eyewitnesses, not only can we put information in without blowing up your brain, we can put it in and then you can believe it so sincerely that the problem is you can testify to that effect. And in fact, we've seen this in a number of ways. The police were doing lineups where the suggestibility of the information was so strong that people would later identify a person that they'd seen. For example, you show a picture lineup and only one person has on a jacket and nobody.
Is from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. It is the blueprint of a marriage. Did you know the states patented a marriage? For all those that are thinking about getting married or are married, this is for you. Or those that are divorced, it's still for you. See, the state is the primary in the contract. The state joins with the husband and then enjoins with the wife. There is no direct line connection between the husband and the wife.
What's the ENJ?
Enjoins. Enjoins. Joins and enjoins. Enjoins just means second position joinery. Okay? So the state joins with the husband, enjoins with the wife. There's no direct line between the husband and the wife. That is a broken line. Any architect or engineer will tell you that a broken line on a blueprint is a beam that bears no weight. And they put God on that line. So God bears no weight in the contract. When you get married with the state, God bears no weight in the contract. The state is the primary contract holder under the doctrine of parens patriae. And if the husband wants to deal with the wife, they have to go through the state. If the wife wants to deal with the husband, they have to go through the state, and so on. Yeah. And they tell you have to get a divorce if you want to separate. When you get a divorce, you're still under contract with the state. So you still have to work through the state. Even if you've been divorced 30 years, you work with the state. They get involved in every aspect of your life between the two of you with the state.
my grave.
That's it.
Down, son.
That's it. We're cleaning your grave.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Whatever spirit said that. The palm of my hand.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, child. I'm sorry.
I want a doll.
You want a doll?
You should have won. Thanks, John.
You're welcome, little one. Sure, thank you. So, you're welcome. Sounded like I just heard a thank you.
Festival. Was he the end of the year? You're the chef. We're here.
You're here?
Kind of, yes. Received.
Good.
Received.
So, Elmer. Elmer, why don't you tell me about your time in the service? You know, a little bit of that was probably spent in the hospital.
You know, like...
Back to the crazy fast.
Looks brand new.
It looks brand new. It's getting there, Elmer. It's getting there, buddy.
I wish this was fake, but the FDA actually just approved a man-made dye that can use the label no artificial color. Despite its name, beetroot red contains no actual beets. It is produced through precision fermentation from a small sliver of DNA. That genetically engineered yeast is placed in industrial stainless steel fermentation tanks and fed simple sugars and minerals. Normally they would have to disclose bioengineered food, but since the GMO DNA is absent in the final product, they were able to bypass this disclosure agreement. What the FDA also doesn't tell you is it allows common carrier agents like gum arabic and maltodextrin to be used in the process yet not labeled. Beetroot red was also approved shortly after a petition was submitted by Phytolon, the Israeli biotech startup that created it. That approval also comes with new labeling rules so products using it can display no artificial colors despite this being made through synthetic biology. And this is all while the primary safety profile is on a 90-day rat study and this compound never being studied in humans. The product was expected to hit US markets this week but has now been delayed, yet it is still coming. Timing is also pretty wild with artificial food dyes like Red 40 just starting to be phased out of the food supply. I don't think it would be too far to say that most consumers would expect it would be replaced by real beet juice or paprika or just not coloring our food. Beetroot red is a clear example of why we should be eating our food from farmers and not people in lab coats.
What's your name?
Pity Pablo.
What?
Pity Pablo.
I don't care. Here, you can have this one. You can have this one.
Okay.
Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, this yours, okay? Freaking.
Tanisha, Lawandra. Oh, I like that. Monique. Ooh.
Do something with that. You can have that one. Next. You, what's your name?
Ursha, baby.
I don't care. Here, you can have this one. Take this one. Take this, okay?
Oh, Lord.
Get out of here. You can just say like, yeah, yeah. Dun, dun, don't get me.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, go. Get out my face.
Oh, okay.
Next. Y'all brothers?
Yeah.
I don't care. Here, you can have this. Yeah.
Oh.
Y'all can have this one. You can say something like that.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
You go like,
ooh. Okay.
Get low, get low, get low, get low, get low, get low. To the window, to the wall, to the sweat drop down my balls.
Thank you.
Go, 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 go.